And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Today we're talking about Grave Business. It's a game about zombies, which, as we all know, is somewhat unpleasant, which is why I brought one with me today to talk about this game. This is a game from Minion Games, which I can easily say at this point is their best game that they've come out with, and it's a quite good one, I think. It does involve blind bidding, although you can take that out if you'd like to. It includes some take that mechanics, going after the other players. It's a lot of fun. Let's look at it. Each player has a board that shows their mad scientist and where their vault, where they keep all their treasures, their lab where you keep your body parts, and then the 10 possible creatures that you can create. And they're all named after famous bad guys in history somehow or other. Okay, then you start with 3 zombies. And each of your zombies is made up of different body parts. So here's Dimitri. He's made up of 2 pieces that are worth 3, 1 piece that's worth 2, and 1 piece that's worth 1. And you shuffle these all together, and you'll put these in front of the tombstone for Dimitri. And then I got one here for Vlad, and then I got one for Titania, or however you pronounce her name. The number on the gravestone is the total strength of all their body parts. You will then get to take the zombie that corresponds to each of those. So see here, for example, I have Vlad and I have Titania, and then I will also get Dimitri. Now each of these has a certain number of brains on, so you can see 3, 2, and 2, and a certain number of bones on. Now what we're doing over the course of this game is we are trying to get things from the graveyard. That's the whole focus point. So we have a graveyard, and at the beginning of the game, you're going to randomly put tiles in all 16 spots here. And there's different kinds of tiles that you can see I'm placing out. Some of them are yellow, those are treasures. Others are red, those are body parts. And occasionally, you'll have something along the lines of this, which is equipment that you can equip one of your zombies. Or those bones there, that's one of the 3 parts of the master. You're trying to get all 3 parts of the master, and if you do that, then you win the game. So what you'll do, each player takes turns, and it's kind of like a worker placement. On your turn, you may place a zombie face down in any of the rows or columns. So let's say I put one there and one there, and there's different places, and my opponent might be putting some around. You're even allowed to put one directly on a row if you wish, but on one of the spots on the board if you wish, but usually you're putting them in rows and columns. You may also put one on the attack board. Now, let's quickly explain attacking. When you put a zombie on the attack board, you pick a defending zombie, and you say, I'm going to attack this zombie here. So we reveal the defending zombie. The defending zombie is Sean. Actually, let's say Sean goes on the attack and attacks one of my zombies. So let's say it's this zombie here. And this is Tatiana. So Sean attacks Tatiana. At that point, we go down to the graveyard, and we flip over the top tile here. That's a body part for Tatiana. And so Tatiana loses that body part, which, see, she was at 11. Now she's down to 10. If she ever gets down to less than half, she's destroyed. But as it is, all that's happened to her this turn is she is removed from the board, and she is placed over here. So that attacker has effectively pulled her off. Now, when she's being attacked, let's say she turns over a piece. Let's see if she even has one in her pile. Sometimes a piece will say, like this one here, will say, zombie fights back. And at that point, the attacking zombie has to turn over one of their pieces, which if it says zombie fights back, it comes back to Tatiana. But if it doesn't, then Tatiana stays safe. So when you're building your zombies, the more of these zombie fights back pieces that you put in, the safer you are. So, that's another thing to do. You're also allowed to place a zombie into a vault where you can try to steal a piece or a treasure from an opponent. Once everyone's done placing their zombies, we turn them all over and we compare them. Now let's say, for example, we see who wins this piece. Well, green has 1 brain on it and blue has 2 brains on it. Brains are what we compare. So blue wins that one. Here green has 1 brain on it, no one else has anything on it, so green would get it. And we keep doing that with each one. The body parts are put into your lab, the treasures and upgrades and everything are put into your vault. When you get enough of these pieces, body pieces, that equal one of the numbers of the zombies that you don't have on the board yet, you can put them together, build that zombie, and take the appropriate token from your backup supply, and you can start using that now. Treasures you're simply putting there to keep at the end of the game. If you ever get all 3 pieces of the master, you win. These are special abilities which can be worth points at the end of the game, but you can also put on one of your zombies if you like to give them bonus points. Sometimes there are something like this one here, heal another zombie, you know, a magic wand that you can put on. But for the most part, that's where you're putting things. Now, you say, why would you ever put a guy directly on a piece? Well, when you put someone directly on, it gives them an extra brain. And sometimes that really matters. If, for example, this blue brain and this green brain down here in the corner are competing for this piece, they both have 1 brain. So when they both have 1 brain, then we go to bones. And so green has a bone, so green would win the tie there. So the bigger your zombie is, the more brains and more bones it has to use to get things to your side. And it also has a bigger body that it can use for fights. The game is over when we don't have any more tiles to refill up the middle of the board here. At that point, we check everyone's vault and lab, turn over all the pieces, you add up the totals, and whoever has the most wins. The only other way to win would be to get all the pieces of the master, in which case you've released the master and Frankenstein goes and terrorizes and kills everybody. Alright, well there you have it. That's what the game looks like. Like I said, it's a very simple, easy game to play. But, you know, putting down the different pieces, you can take out the attacking if you want to. But there is some interesting choices. Should I fill my zombie with a lot of those smaller body parts that give me a chance to fight back? Should I go for as many zombies? Should I keep the body parts and just hope for the best and see if I have the most points at the end? Should I try to get those 3 parts of the master? It has some very interesting things. I really like the blind bidding, although you can play with all zombies face up, but what's the fun in that? So I think it's fun. It's very enjoyable. Theme is, even though it's zombies, the theme is fairly lighthearted. Or is the theme mad scientist? I'm not sure. But either way, I enjoy it. What do you think, Melody?
I like the game, and except I'm really bad at building up zombies because one person killed my zombie and then I was slow for the rest of the game.
Yeah, well, that is true. There is a chance that if you have one of your zombies take it out early, it can put you back a bit. And you can take out the attacking part completely if you don't like that. I mean, I do. But for the most part, so I enjoy it. And you think it's pretty decent? Alrighty. Well, that's it this time. We'll see you next time. If you like our reviews, check out our audio show at Dicetower.com, where we talk about board games weekly for about 60 to 90 minutes. Check us out.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.